365 days later, Donald Mustard is now gone from Fortnite, as we all know, but is the game better with or without Donald Mustard? Mr. JOI uploaded a fantastic video on the topic, and today I wanted to react to it, give my thoughts, and as always, guys, I would love to know what you guys think about it down below afterwards. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, my name is Kyle. I am your guy with many YouTube channels. Guys, let's react to Mr. JOI, and also his links will be in the pinned comment description down below. Go show him some love. The channel is absolutely phenomenal.
It's been a year since Donald Mustard announced he was leaving his role as Chief Creative Officer at Epic Games. Donald Mustard spent 25 years in the gaming industry building Chair, Shadow Complex, the Infinity Blade trilogy, and of course, Fortnite.
It's funny, like, I guarantee you so many people now just had their minds blown, or like they had an insane reaction, like a little bit of an adrenaline rush. Infinity Blade, you know?
Although since Chapter 3, Season 3, Donald Mustard wasn't directly involved in Fortnite seasons. Vibin was his last season he worked on. Donald has since started something new, working with the Russo brothers at AGBO, and could have direct involvement in a new Avengers film.
I really hope so, man. Like, because I'm so excited to follow Donald Mustard and whatever he chooses to do. I always thought it'd be really cool, and this isn't an original idea or anything. Like, a lot of people have been talking about this. I always thought it'd be really cool if Donald Mustard could be given the rights to characters like Jonesy, characters like the 7-In, especially if Jonesy's supposedly gonna die in the Fortnite storyline. If that were to take place, Donald Mustard can kind of write his own thing. I would love that, but you know, the care, passion, and love that Donald Mustard puts into his things, Fortnite being the prime example, right? I am excited to follow him in whatever he chooses to do.
Which is interesting since his replacement, Charlie Wen, helped build that universe. Strange. But how has this year been without Donald Mustard at Epic Games? We've had Season OG, the Big Bang event, the start of Chapter 5, which has introduced new movement, as well as Bullet Drop to the...
Now, what I'm also interested in is what Donald Mustard, like, if Donald Mustard would have went along with any of this. Like, would we have had Fortnite OG with Donald Mustard? I don't know. Also, it's really crazy to see, like, it's been a year since Donald Mustard left. It's been a year since the community exploded.
Game. We also have new core game modes, Lego, Rocket Racing, Festival, and Reload. These last 12 months have been full of content from even a storyline perspective, where Donald Mustard was heavily involved throughout his time at Epic Games. Oh, that's something I miss, his regular Twitter messages, or he would change his location on Twitter to tease a new season or a new story arc.
Yeah, we're still missing a little bit of that, like a little bit of the love and excitement, because you can tell, like, here's the problem, like, Charlie Wen is so far writing a really, really solid story, but you can tell, like, Donald Mustard was just so excited to drop and, like, have everybody find out what he was working on. That's the little bit of difference, and I'm not saying that Charlie doesn't care or anything like that, don't get me wrong. It's just something that I miss about Donald. There's a little bit more that they could have done.
Had some really good storytelling and events this chapter, although I'm pretty sure there'd be many who would disagree with that statement. I really believe people are not ready for the conversation that this storytelling, in-game wise anyway, is just better than some of the previous chapters. If you want to throw in a cinematic live event or a couple of comic books on top of this chapter, then fair enough, but gameplay wise, experiencing it in-game, it's one of their better ones.
I thought about making a video on this topic actually, because I liked Donald Mustard's storytelling better personally. I liked the loading screens. I liked that it was more cryptic, things like they did in Chapter 1. I actually, in the video that I was talking about, that I was thinking about uploading is Fortnite storytelling better when it's just done through map changes and kind of left for the community to get a gauge on from their own? Is it better just in loading screens? Is it better to find things on the map like the gold hand on the toilet or something like that? Or is it better with the voice lines that we've had in Chapter 2? But Mr. JOI makes some pretty good points over here, so listen up.
If you want to take into account Chapter 2 Season 7 to Chapter 3 Season 2, that is peak cinema for the Fortnite storyline.
Yes.
Of course, that played over a couple chapters. If you just take into account the Collision storyline, some great stuff there. Honestly, the best Epic has ever done. But consistently, Chapter 5 has told a great story. Like people are saying, well, Hope should have been doing a lot more earlier on in this chapter. Some would argue Sloan was one of the best characters ever thought of back in Chapter 2, Season 5.
And I am a Sloan enjoyer. I totally support that. Dr. Sloan, one of the greatest characters in the Fortnite storyline.
We literally heard a few words. The same with Geno. Now, then points will eventually be revisited, but I see nothing wrong with actually experiencing a growth for character.
Now, he is true in saying that. There is one thing that I want to mention, because it's interesting that he mentions that we've never heard Dr. Sloan, but that was the beauty of Donald Mustard's storytelling. We didn't have to have these characters speak. We had an incredible, beautiful story told to us throughout Chapter 1 of Fortnite and kind of early in Chapter 2. That was a story like I and nobody else has pretty much experienced before, and I thought that was beautiful the way they've done that. And actually, Chapter 2, Season 7 through Chapter 3, Season 2, I agree, was the best time to be a storyline fan. And I know that's a little bit like going against my point here, but I still preferred the way that the story was told there. Like in Chapter 2, Season 2, we had no voice lines. We had to figure out that Midas was working on a device. I loved that.
Throughout a chapter like we are doing with Hope. But anyway, back to Chapter 5, and we currently have Dr. Doom causing havoc on the island, which, again, a strange connection with Red and Mustard, wouldn't you agree? Of course, not everything this chapter has gone down well with the community. Many feel that Fortnite has misstepped a lot, such as the vehicles in Season 3 and its reluctancy to go back to hit scan. For UI, which has just not been good enough, hopefully at the start of Chapter 6, they will drop the new UI.
Yeah, and there are a lot of problems with Chapter 5. I've talked about it a lot on the channel. I'm not here to sit down and tell you even more about it, but throughout Chapter 5, I haven't liked a lot of things that Epic Games has done, but one thing that I did like so far is how the storyline has been progressing. Their art team's been pretty good too, talking about the storyline loading screens, but I do like how this story is being told right now. I think it's really picking up. My big worry is that they're only really hammering it home this season because they have Disney over their shoulder with the Marvel season. I'm really worried about that. I would need to wait and to see with Chapter 6 because I don't expect the story to be too strong in Chapter 2 OG, but Chapter 6 is going to have a lot of questions answered for us.
And the overall item shop as well looks messy and awful. But if I was to ask 100 people what they hated about season, they would probably list off every reason why the other 100 people would also like the season, and especially the chapter overall.
It's true.
Season 3 with the vehicles was a prime example of this. Definitely people who hated it, definitely people who liked it. So in my opinion, is it fair to rank these chapters? I would sometimes put Chapter 5 honestly at the bottom, sometimes middle of the road. It depends how I feel. But me putting Chapter 5 at the bottom, if I do, doesn't mean it's a bad chapter.
And that's something honestly, and I honestly, it's crazy to me that this stuff has to be said, but just because something's one way for you doesn't mean it's that way for the rest of the world. And the Fortnite community and gaming community and even just more people in general now really need to see that. Like, people sit down and tell you like, oh, I don't understand how anybody can like this bullet drop thing going in Fortnite. Well, like, there's a lot of people who do like bullet drop. The world doesn't revolve around you. Everybody is living a life so selfishly. It's crazy. It's like just selfishly minded, you know? That's the weird thing about it.
It has very stiff competition. Also, Donald leaving coincidentally coincided with Epic Games a couple weeks later, laying off 900 members of staff, which led the community to speculate the reason Donald Mustard left. And in a good 5 months after that, he dropped that interview, which amalgamated the hate for Epic Games, how the community saw they treated Donald Mustard. But I do believe Epic Games have had wins this chapter. With the events, they've all been pretty good. The new game modes have been excellent, which I'm pretty sure Donald worked on. Of course, Donald...
did they work on that? I don't know. I always kind of credited that to the Fortnite team right now. I could be wrong about that, though.
Mustard was heavily involved in the conception of the metaverse. It was his idea as well, of course.
And this is something that people need to realize, is this is what Donald wanted. Look at that. Look at that. Let's read the tweet. I think this is the first time we kind of drew out a crazy idea. The idea to evolve Fortnite into a place where you could have all sorts of different agency-driven game and entertainment experiences with your friends, all connected by your hub, your locker, and continues on. This was supposedly written out Wednesday, December 13th, 2017 at 5:12 p.m. More people need to understand before you hear all the arguments like, oh, Donald Mustard, if he was still in charge, none of this metaverse crap would happen. You know how we meme about it on the channel pretty often on the Tuesday streams that we do, but it really was his idea. Well, Donald Mustard wouldn't have let it fail. It's not failing. It's just in its infancy.
Of course, yes, how he imagined it didn't quite get across, but in a company with loads of voices and opinions, that is never going to happen. Now, when I say the new modes are good, they have been good, I think they could be better. Lego is getting 50,000 concurrent players, and I really enjoy it.
I thought he said Leo. That's funny. Leo's channel's doing really, really good, which is awesome to see, though. But yeah, like, another thing that people really need to consider is that games would kill to have the numbers that Lego Fortnite does. People are so... Of course, you're going to compare everything in Battle Royale. That's understandable. But people will look at a game who constantly has like 30K to 60K players and go, nah, game's dead. Absolutely dead. Like, it just came out this year. Give it a little bit of time. They need to build it into the massive thing that they want it to be.
I think there could be more of an end game. Same with Minecraft with the Ender Dragon. I'm not the first guy to say this. People have constantly been saying this the whole year. But there is a big update coming with Colombo and a few other things. I think there's a new biome coming because of that, which hopefully we can see a more of a flossed endgame. But even if it doesn't come in this update, I feel they're working towards that eventually. Although personally, I think half the issue is just people's imagination. I've seen people make some crazy stuff with Lego Fortnite. Absolutely insane, world class. I saw someone make an elevator, a working elevator. But people put a hot down and go, well, this is boring. Oh no, it is the same with Minecraft.
It's so true. People do that all the time. But I will say that Lego still does need more to do. You can have a lot of fun with the game. It depends on your attitude. I always say that. But Lego Fortnite does, in my opinion, objectively... Well, I can't say my opinion objectively. But no, you know what? I think it's right to say there needs to be more to do in Lego Fortnite, but people still absolutely can have fun with it. But you have so many people in this community who either have their brains destroyed by TikTok and adult content or just refuse to have fun and are play the game too much. They need to go outside or something. They need to do something different. They sit down, they go, oh, I don't want to play Lego. They come on, they don't even try to have fun. They sit down, they go, nah, boring, not for me. Mr. JOY is totally right in that.
You get players who say, oh, I'm bored of this, and they just build mud huts. I'm like, there's so much more you can do. And in Lego, there's so much more you can do. I think people become so numb when they see figures like 50,000 concurrent players. At the moment, Fortnite has some insane numbers. 300,000, 400,000, 500,000 people playing BR. People enjoying the reload mode. Fortnite has a lot to celebrate, but it also has a lot to work at in these next 365 days.
That's true.
And I am certain that will be achieved. You go back 365 days from last year, almost 2 years. Creative was completely different. We didn't have these other game modes. Some will say we should go back to that. Simpler times. I don't think you can ever change those people's opinions. They're valid, but are they blinded by nostalgia?
That's absolutely true. Creative is better now and better than ever. I understand, though, and I understand where those people are coming from, the people who just want creative to go back into the simpler days. But the thing is, you would say something, and of course, I know if you're about to comment down below and say something different, this is just a general opinion. You would ask them why creative was better back in the day. Well, my friends and I would just build a parkour track out of wood, and then we would do it together. We would all build our own parkour track. We would all build different levels. Why can't you do that now? You know, it's just people refuse to have fun the way that they're supposed to have fun. They refuse to have fun the way they did in OG Fortnite. And Chapter 2 is going to come out, by the way. Chapter 2 Fortnite's going to come out, and everybody's going to come down, and they're actually going to try to have fun for the people who love Chapter 2. If you had fun in Chapter 2, you can have fun in Chapter 5. I will stand by that.
Like, Fortnite got to where it was because they innovated. Hopefully, over these next 365 days, they continue to innovate.
And they will, and this is what I always talk about with the metaverse too. Sorry to put a quick pause on this again, but for those people who are constantly complaining about the metaverse right now, I understand the complaints, but this is when it first started. It's in its infancy. It will be okay. It's going to build into something massive.
Under the helm of Charlie Wen. Of course, he is the CCO of Epic Games, not just Fortnite. Of course, I'm going to see it from more of a Fortnite perspective, because that's what I do. But of course, he's got a lot more work than just Fortnite. As too did Donald Mustard. Okay, Donald Mustard left a month after his announcement, but the last 300 or so days without Donald Mustard, for me, has been good. I've enjoyed it. The Lego mode I love. The overall Battle Royale experience from Season 1 to Season 4 has had some really notable moments, which has kept me engaged and looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah, I feel the same way pretty well. Although Chapter 5 has been my least favorite chapter, I will confidently say that. There's a lot that I don't like about the chapter, but I'm still having a blast. Everything's okay without Donald Mustard. I would prefer to have Donald Mustard back. I really would. We're missing, like I said at the beginning of the video, we're missing that like hard care and passion and heart that's been put into the game. But that seems to be building up. Right now, we're in a pretty good spot, so that could age poorly in what I said.
In Season OG, and of course Chapter 6, which is all to come in the next 365 days. And hopefully, this time, we won't know what's to come in them 365 days because we had the roadmap for the most of this chapter.
Yeah, that roadmap leak hurt a ton. That really hurt. And I've talked about this a lot on the channel too, how Fortnite leaks are actively hurting the game. People like to wonder why this game doesn't hit the same, why this game doesn't feel the same. It's because you guys already knew this Marvel season was coming. You guys already knew that we're going to have a Mad Max style theme. We already knew that Chapter 2 OG is going to come back. We already know what's coming out in the item shop. Leaks, and especially that roadmap, was the worst thing that could have happened for Chapter 5.
Look, people always say something along the lines of, Donald Mustard should come back. The game would be more better. It'd be more balanced. I'm like, did everyone just go missing during Season X? I mean, they did, to be fair. But they think Donald Mustard will fix certain stuff that he himself also kind of broke.
Yeah, we talk about this all the time on the channel, like Tuesday streams with like Jojo, Clark, and Dago, and we always go, this one happened to Donald Mustard. Like, you could die in Fortnite, get headshot by a sniper. This one had happened to Donald Mustard was in charge. I blame the metaverse.
Occasionally. Okay, not himself, of course, it'd be developers, but because Donald Mustard was a head guy, I guess many people will see it as it happened under his tenureship. Chapter 2, Season 4 with Iron Man's Unibeam, that thing was ridiculous. Wrapping things up, I think it's been a good 365 days since Donald Mustard left Epic Games, or 330 odd days. And by looking at what Epic's got planned, I can't wait to find out what they've got planned. But I'm enjoying this season so far. You could be Dr. Doom. Some people might see that as overpowered. I see that as well. That's some good fun. I mean, it only
like that. I think that's the right way to look at it, man. And if you don't like it, I suggest play competitive. That's what I love about this. And I understand, before you comment down below, that's just a general opinion. It's not like hard as what it should be. It's just like, I think what's best. I look at Dr. Doom and I think that is like really, really cool the way that they're doing things, man.
Spawn's in 12% now, but I haven't seen it since like literally the first 4 games I played of this update.
I haven't seen it at all yet. I'm sad.
At least I've seen it. But guys, let me know down below how you feel about the post Donald Mustard era. And yeah, I will be replying to your comments. Leave a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Until next time.
And I suggest that, guys, you go subscribe to Mr. JOY. The links will be in the pinned comment description down below. I stumbled over my own words right there. That was a really good video, guys. It's crazy to me that Donald Mustard has been gone that long. It feels like it was just yesterday. Everybody was on Twitter complaining about Donald Mustard. And then it feels like just yesterday that interview dropped. It's been 365 days. That is absolutely insane. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Why don't you, in the meantime, check out this tier list ranking at all Donald Mustard's storylines from the start of Fortnite over to Chapter 3, Season 2. I would love to have you guys over there. Take care, everybody.